How to downsize during a life emergency and planning under pressure. There are moments in life when selling a home isn't a choice, it's a necessity. A medical emergency, a sudden family situation, or an unexpected relocation, or a loss that turns your world upside down. If you're facing downsizing during a life emergency in Queens or Long Island, I want you to hear this clearly from the start. You are not behind, you are not failing, and you are not alone. Today, I'm going to walk you through how to downsize during a life emergency, how to make smart real estate decisions under pressure, and how to protect yourself financially and emotionally when everything else feels urgent. Downsizing during a life emergency is very different from downsizing by choice. This isn't a carefully planned move. This isn't a lifestyle upgrade. It's often happening when you're stressed, exhausted, and emotionally overwhelmed. In Queens and Long Island, I most often see this when a homeowner faces a sudden medical issue, a parent needs assisted living quickly, a family inherits a home unexpectedly, or someone must relocate fast due to work or family needs. The hardest part isn't selling the home. The hardest part is making good decisions while under emotional pressure. The biggest mistake I see is rushing without a plan. People feel like they have to accept the first offer, sell completely as is without understanding options, skip preparation entirely, or take advice that oversimplifies the situation. Urgency can be dangerous if it isn't guided properly. A fast sale does not have to mean leaving money on the table, taking unnecessary risk, or feeling regret later. The goal during an emergency is not speed at all costs. The goal is controlled speed with protection. Downsizing under pressure in Queens or Long Island is not the same as anywhere else. Homes here often involve long ownership histories, title issues sellers didn't know existed, multi-generational living, estate or probate complications, investor versus high-end buyer decisions. Without local expertise, sellers can unwillingly misprice the home, choose the wrong buyer type, miss red flags, or move too fast without leverage. This is why working with an experienced Queens or Long Island real estate agent matters most during emergencies. Let me share a real scenario I see far too often. A homeowner in Queens has lived in her home for over 40 years. After a sudden medical emergency, she needs to downsize quickly. Her first instinct was panic. She assumed she had to sell immediately, accept any offer, and move on. But once we slowed the process just enough to understand her options, we were able to clarify her timeline, identify the right buyer profile, and avoid unnecessary concessions. The home sold efficiently, without chaos, and she was able to move forward with financial stability and peace of mind. The emergency didn't define the outcome. The strategy did. Title issues sellers didn't know about. Another common surprise during emergency downsizing, especially with older homes, is title issues sellers were never aware of. These can include old liens paid off decades ago but never released, mortgage satisfied but not properly recorded, estate or probate related complications, or missing documentation from long ago transfers. For someone who's lived in their home for decades, this can feel shocking. They've paid their taxes, they've maintained the home, they've lived there peacefully, and then suddenly something comes up. In many cases, these issues can be resolved, but sometimes they take time. And some buyers don't want to wait, so they walk away. Doesn't mean that your home can't sell, it just means that this wasn't the right buyer for the situation. What smart downsizing under pressure looks like. When downsizing during a life emergency, the smartest path usually includes clarifying the real timeline. Not every emergency requires an immediate closing, even if it feels that way. Number 2 is understanding buyer options. Traditional buyers, cash buyers, and investors all come with different trade-offs. Number 3, protecting the seller emotionally. This process is often tied to grief, stress, or fear, and compassion matters. And number 4, making strategic, not emotional decisions. Calm guidance protects both value and peace of mind. If you're downsizing during a life emergency, do not assume you have no options. Accept fear-based advice, skip understanding of the local market, or let urgency override clarity. Emergencies require calm leadership, not rushed decisions. If you're facing downsizing during a life emergency in Queens or Long Island, I want to leave you with this. You don't have to have everything figured out today. You don't need to rush decisions out of fear, and you don't need to go through this without guidance. With the right information, the right strategy, and the right support, it is possible to move forward thoughtfully, even under pressure. And if conversations like this are helpful for you, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. I share guidance here for homeowners in Queens and Long Island who want clarity whether they're downsizing, selling under pressure, navigating unexpected life changes, or simply planning ahead. My goal is to help you make confident decisions even before you feel rushed. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in my next video.